My brother-in-law's wedding was approaching when my father-in-law said to me, "Tell your parents the restaurant is full, so they don't need to come." In that instant, I booked plane tickets for my parents and me for a holiday on the French Riviera. The dinner that evening was unusually lavish. In the center of the table was a golden roasted chicken, expertly carved and reassembled. Beside it sat a platter of crisp roasted potatoes, a steaming tureen of mushroom soup, a tangy salad, and a dish of green beans sautéed with garlic. I had been busy in the kitchen since early afternoon, hoping for a cheerful family meal, especially with my sister-in-law Sophie's wedding just 2 weeks away. As the eldest son's wife, I felt a duty to ensure everything was perfect. I placed a generous piece of chicken on my father-in-law's plate. "Please, eat while it's hot, father. It's a lovely organic chicken, very tender." Mr. Dubois nodded, seemingly pleased. My mother-in-law fussed over her husband and daughter. "See? Having a capable daughter-in-law means I just have to sit down and eat. Sophie, you should learn a thing or two from Clara." Sophie pouted playfully. "Oh, mother, don't worry. My fiancé will take care of me. Besides, Clara is the best, I could never compare." My husband, Leo, sat beside me, quietly eating. He always believed that at the dinner table, men should eat while women talked. I had grown accustomed to it over our 5 years of marriage. I thought this quiet, predictable life was a form of happiness. After a few glasses of wine, my father-in-law cleared his throat and set his cutlery down with a sharp click. The table fell silent. I knew he had something important to say. "Clara," he began, looking directly at me, his eyes devoid of warmth. "I've discussed this with Leo and Sophie. The wedding venue has a strict guest limit. We can't add another table." I was confused. "What do you mean, father? Is there an issue with the guest list?" My mother-in-law interjected, her tone gentle but distant. "Well, you know, our guest list is long friends of ours, friends of Leo and Sophie. It's already nearly 50 tables. The venue is very professional. They can't make exceptions." A sense of dread washed over me. "Does this affect my family's invitation?" I asked hesitantly. My father-in-law took a sip of his espresso. "You need to explain it to your parents. It's just Sophie's wedding. Tell them to stay home and rest. The travel would be tiring. Just say the restaurant is full." My world crumbled. My parents, who had worked tirelessly their whole lives to raise me, were being dismissed with such a humiliating excuse. They were looking forward to celebrating with us, to supporting me. Now, they were being cast aside as if they were nothing. I looked desperately at Leo, my husband, pleading with my eyes for him to say something, anything, but he just stared down at his plate, avoiding my gaze. His silence was more devastating than any harsh words. It was the final blow, shattering any illusion I had about the man I loved. Sophie and her mother remained silent, as if nothing had happened. To them, my parents' presence was insignificant. "I understand," I heard myself say, my voice sounding distant and strange. I stood up and began clearing the table, my hands trembling. No one asked if I was all right. My father-in-law was already discussing wedding decorations with Sophie. My husband had moved to the living room to watch the news. That night, as I washed the dishes in the cold, silent kitchen, tears streamed down my face. I wasn't crying out of self-pity, but from the pain of betrayal and disrespect. It became painfully clear that my 5 years of sacrifice for this family meant nothing. I was just an outsider, a tool they used. Later, in our bedroom, Leo was already asleep, his back to me. I sat at my dressing table and looked at my reflection. For years, I had dedicated myself to caring for Leo and his family, forgetting that I, too, deserved love and respect. Memories flooded back. I remembered the day my mother-in-law gave me a chipped bowl, saying it was a family tradition for the new daughter-in-law. For 5 years, I used that bowl while they ate from fine new dinnerware. I remembered secretly selling the gold necklace my mother gave me, my only heirloom, to pay for my father-in-law's surgery. I received no thanks, only a simple, "Ah, good." I remembered slaving away alone in the kitchen during holidays, preparing feasts for their entire extended family, while my mother-in-law and Sophie dressed up to greet guests. It was my duty, they said. And Leo's silence tonight. It wasn't because he was a man of few words. He was complicit. He chose his family, allowing his wife to be humiliated. That silence was a cruel, unspoken betrayal. A final, cold tear rolled down my cheek. Something inside me broke. I would not live like this anymore. I deserved respect, and so did my parents. They had just dealt me a crushing blow. Now, I would teach them a lesson they would never forget. The next morning, I woke up early. I dressed in a smart business suit, applied makeup to hide my swollen eyes, and prepared breakfast as usual. When my mother-in-law came downstairs, she asked, "Up so early? Is something wrong?" "No, Mother," I replied, with a smile that felt foreign on my face. "I just have an urgent project at work today." It was my first lie, and it came effortlessly. Instead of going to the office, I took a taxi to a high-end travel agency. "I'd like to book a private, all-inclusive luxury holiday for my family," I told the agent. "Wonderful. Where and for how long?" she asked. "Nice, on the French Riviera," I said without hesitation. 5 days, 4 nights, at a 5-star resort with a private beach. For my parents and me. It was the trip my parents had always dreamed of. And the dates? Departure on the morning of the 15th of next month, I stated firmly. The 15th was Sophie's wedding day. I paid with a credit card I kept from a side job, money I had been saving for a trip to Italy with Leo for our 5th anniversary. Now, it would serve a much better purpose. Leaving the agency, I felt a sense of freedom. I bought myself a coffee, something I hadn't done in ages, and a few novels I'd wanted to read. I was learning to love myself again. That afternoon, I called my mother. "Mum, Dad, get ready," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "On the 15th, we're going to Nice. I've booked everything, no excuses." I could hear my mother's joyful cry and my father's excited voice in the background. My own tears fell, but this time, they were tears of happiness. As long as my parents were happy, I would do anything. My plan had just begun. In the following days, I continued to play the part of a dutiful wife. The house was buzzing with wedding preparations. I listened to them discuss the lavish ceremony at one of the city's most expensive venues, feeling nothing but cold indifference. One evening, I overheard my mother-in-law on the phone. "Don't worry, for the remaining deposit on the venue, we'll just use Clara's year-end bonus. Leo has already agreed." My blood ran cold. That bonus was the result of countless overtime hours, and I had planned to use it to renovate my parents' house. They intended to take it without even asking me. And Leo, my husband, had agreed. Later, I casually mentioned the bonus to Leo. It should be around 10,000 euros this year. I was thinking of sending it to my parents to fix their leaky roof. "Sure, whatever you want. It's your money," he replied, his eyes glued to his video game. He lied so smoothly. I felt disgusted. A few days later, I overheard Leo on the phone in the bathroom. He was whispering urgently. "I know, just be calm, don't make a scene. I'll send you more this month. Is the child okay? I'll try to visit soon. I'm busy right now." "The child?" My mind reeled. Could he have another woman? Another family? I knew I needed proof. The suspicion gnawed at me. But a more urgent matter was our joint savings account. We had been putting money aside for 5 years to buy our own apartment. It should have held nearly 100,000 euros. I hadn't checked it in a long time, trusting Leo completely. That trust was now gone. The next morning, feigning illness, I went to the bank. After a tense wait, I sat before the teller. "I'd like to check the balance and get a statement for this savings account," I said, my voice trembling. The teller typed for a moment. "Ma'am, the current balance is 35,000 euros. "What? That can't be right," I stammered. "It should be almost 100,000 euros. She turned the screen towards me. "No, that's correct. There was a withdrawal of 65,000 euros 2 months ago." My eyes locked on the screen. The name of the person who made the withdrawal was Leo Dubois, my husband. He had taken more than half of our life savings without a word. What for? For his sister's wedding? or to support his other woman and child. Holding the printed statement, I felt a chilling rage replace my pain. He had not only betrayed my love, but also my hard work and our shared future. This bank statement was my weapon. I was going home to confront him. When I got home, Leo was watching TV. "Where have you been?" he asked. "I had some business to attend to," I said, my voice like ice. I threw the bank statement on the table. "Explain this." When he saw the 65,000 euros withdrawal, his face went pale. "Where did you get this?" "Where did the money go, Leo?" I demanded, looking straight into his eyes. I told you, it's a business investment with a friend," he stammered. "An investment?" I scoffed. "Or an investment in your other family? The one you speak to in secret? The one with your child?" The truth hit him like a physical blow. "You've been spying on me?" he shouted, jumping to his feet. "If you were innocent, you would have nothing to fear." I screamed back, for the first time in our marriage. "You cheated on me, betrayed me, and stole my money to support your mistress, and you dare to raise your voice at me?" Our shouting brought my mother-in-law and Sophie running downstairs. "What is all this noise? Clara, how dare you speak to your husband like that?" My mother-in-law screeched, shielding Leo. "Ask your precious son what he's been doing behind my back." I shot back. "Ask him where our 65,000 euros went. Or were you in on it too?" A sharp smack echoed in the room. Leo had slapped me. The physical pain was nothing compared to the pain in my heart. I looked at him with pure hatred. "That's it," I said, my voice clear and firm. "I want a divorce." The word hung in the air like a death sentence. They all stared at me, stunned. I turned and walked upstairs to pack my suitcase, leaving their shouts behind me. As I tried to leave, they blocked the door. "Where do you think you're going?" Leo snarled. "Somewhere far away from you," I replied. It was Sophie who delivered the next blow, her voice dripping with malice. "You think you can just walk out? What about the baby in your belly?" I froze. How did she know? I had only found out a few days ago and hadn't told anyone. I realized they must have been spying on me. "If you dare to divorce my brother and ruin my wedding, I'll tell everyone you're pregnant," she threatened. "Let's see what shame that brings upon your family." They thought the baby was their trump card, a chain to keep me bound to them. They were wrong. "Go ahead," I said, a cold smile on my lips. "Spread your rumors. But remember, a secret can't be hidden forever." "What do you think people will say when they find out your brother has a secret child with another woman, that he stole his wife's savings, and that your family planned to use my bonus to pay for this wedding? As for this baby," I continued, my voice hard as steel, "it is my child. I will decide its future. You have no right to interfere." I pushed past Leo with all my might and walked out the door. This time, no one stopped me. Outside, the sky looked brighter. I was free. I called the only person I could think of. Victoria, a friend from university who was now a successful family law attorney. We met at a cafe, and through my tears, I told her everything. She listened patiently, her expression shifting from surprise to indignation. "Okay, pull yourself together," she said, her voice firm and reassuring. "First, you have grounds for a divorce. His infidelity is a serious breach. We just need concrete proof." "But I have no proof, only what I overheard," I worried. "We can get proof," Victoria said confidently. "I know a reputable private investigator. As for the money, that bank statement is crucial. We will sue him for every last cent. And about the baby," she looked me in the eye. "The law protects you and the child. Their threats are empty. You will get full custody and he will pay child support. You have nothing to fear." For the first time, I felt I wasn't alone. Victoria offered me the key to a small apartment she owned. That night, in that clean, quiet space, I felt like I was reborn. Victoria hired the investigators, and within a week, the first report came in. It included photos of Leo meeting a beautiful young woman, Isabel, outside a luxury apartment building. They had dinner, went to a bar, and he spent the night with her. The report stated this was a weekly occurrence, and he always brought supplies like formula and children's clothes. Isabel lived alone with a 3-year-old boy. 3 years old. That meant Leo had been cheating on me almost since our wedding day. My marriage was a lie from the very beginning. A few days later, the second report arrived. Isabel was Leo's ex-girlfriend, the one his mother always mentioned with regret. Their family had lied to me. He had never broken up with her. The report also included a photo taken through a restaurant window. Leo, Isabel, and the little boy celebrating the child's 3rd birthday, a cake between them reading, "Happy birthday, my dearest son." The pain was replaced by a cold, hard resolve. I had to meet this woman, not to fight, but to understand. I felt the key to everything lay with her. Victoria was against it. "Are you crazy, Clara? It's too dangerous." But I insisted. I found Isabel at her lavish apartment, an apartment paid for with my sweat and tears. When I introduced myself as Leo's wife, her friendly demeanor vanished, replaced by arrogance. But when her young son ran out, her composure cracked. "I'm not here to fight," I said calmly. "I'm here to ask if you know that the money supporting your lifestyle comes from my and Leo's joint savings account." She scoffed. "Leo loves me. It's your fault you couldn't keep your husband. Or was he never truly mine to keep?" I countered. "Did he tell you he was forced to marry me? That he would divorce me soon to be with you? Because he told me you two were ancient history." I placed the ultrasound photo on the table. "And I'm pregnant with his child, too. His family knows, and they are using it to blackmail me into staying." Isabel stared at the photo, her world crumbling. "No," she whispered, tears in her eyes. "He promised he loved me. He promised he would give me and our son a proper life." Her story mirrored mine, full of Leo's lies and broken promises. We weren't enemies. We were both his victims. The anger between us dissolved, replaced by a shared sense of betrayal. "We will make him pay," I said, looking her in the eye. Together. Our plan was audacious. The stage would be Sophie's wedding. It was the day they cared about most, the day they would present their perfect, respectable facade to the world. We would shatter that facade in front of everyone. With Victoria's legal guidance, we gathered our arsenal. Isabel provided bank statements showing the money transfers from Leo. She made one final recorded call to him, where he tearfully professed his love for her and called me a shrew he couldn't wait to be rid of. The final piece was the DNA test. I slipped back into my old house on a pretext and retrieved one of Leo's old toothbrushes. The results were conclusive. 99% probability he was the boy's father. We were ready. On the wedding day, the venue was a picture of luxury and happiness. The Dubois family beamed with pride. Leo played the part of the doting brother, oblivious to the storm about to break. Just as the bride and groom were about to exchange rings, the grand doors of the hall swung open. Isabel walked in, holding her son's hand. A hush fell over the room. All eyes turned to them, then to Leo, whose face had turned a ghostly white. Isabel walked calmly to the front. "Leo Dubois," she said, her voice clear and strong. "Do you recognize your son?" The room erupted in whispers. Just then I entered, with Victoria by my side. The lights dimmed, and the giant screen behind the stage flickered to life. Instead of wedding photos, it displayed our joint bank statement, with the huge withdrawals highlighted. "Good afternoon, everyone." My voice boomed through the speakers. "I am Clara, Leo's legal wife. I am here today to reveal the truth." The screen showed the statements of money flowing from our account to Isabel's. Then, the audio recording of Leo's phone call played, his cruel words about me echoing through the silent hall. Photos of his secret family flashed across the screen. And for the grand finale, the DNA test result appeared, enlarged for all to see. Chaos ensued. Sophie, the bride, shrieked, tore off her veil and ran off stage. Her fiancé followed. Mrs. Dubois fainted. Mr. Dubois collapsed in his chair, clutching his chest. The venue manager took the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced grimly, "due to an outstanding balance on the final deposit, we regret to inform you that we must cease all services for this event." The wedding they had planned with my money was a sham they couldn't even afford. The guests fled, their faces a mixture of pity and disgust. The dream wedding had become a nightmare. My work was done. I looked at the wreckage of their lives, feeling not triumph, but a quiet, weary emptiness. I turned and walked away, leaving the Dubois family to face the ruins they had built themselves. A month later, I stood on a balcony in Nice, overlooking the sea with my parents. My divorce was finalized. I had gotten all my money back, plus damages. The Dubois family had lost everything: their home, their reputation, their jobs. It was no longer my concern. Here, with the unconditional love of my parents, I began to heal. "Have you decided about the baby?" my mother asked gently one evening. I smiled, placing a hand on my growing belly. "Yes, Mum. I'm keeping my child. I'm going to give them the best life." "You are so strong," she said, her eyes full of pride. "And you're not alone. We're here for you." 4 years later, in a quiet, sun-drenched alley in a small town in Provence, I stand behind the counter of my own little bookshop cafe, Serenity. My son, Arthur, is happily reading to a customer. I gave him his father's surname, not out of lingering affection, but so he would know his story is real, and to teach him to face the truth. After the divorce, I used my settlement to build this life. It's a simple life, but it's full of peace and joy. A man approaches the counter, smiling warmly. He's holding a book. "Excuse me," he says, his voice gentle. "Do you have any more copies of this?" "I'm afraid that's the last one," I reply, smiling back. "It's a beautiful shop," he says. "My name is Julien. I'm a literature teacher who just moved here. I have a feeling I'll be back often." As he leaves, he pauses to ruffle Arthur's hair. "You're a great reader," he tells my son. I watch him go, a gentle, unfamiliar warmth spreading through my chest. I don't know what the future holds, but for the first time in a long time, I feel truly happy. The past is closed. A new door is opening, and Arthur and I are ready to step through it, together.